ドジャースは日本時間6日、ワールドシリーズで負傷した大谷翔平投手が左肩の関節鏡視下手術を受けたと発表しました。当初は亜脱臼で軽傷とされていましたが、実際には手術が必要な状態であり、米国の記者たちもこのニュースを一斉に速報しました。MLB ネットワークの番組、MLB トゥナイトでも手術の発表が速報され、司会のアドナン・ビルク氏は、
彼は本当にタフです。肩が脱臼していた状態でワールドシリーズをプレーしていたなんて、アメージングです。
と驚きをもってコメントしました。この様子を日本語字幕付きでお伝えいたします。さらに、エンゼルスのローガン・オホッピー選手や、ドジャースの先発投手ジャック・フラハティ選手らも大谷についてコメントしており、彼らの声も合わせてご紹介します。
So, okay, walk me through this. Parade's over. Party at Mookie's house? Is that what you're saying?
Parade's over. I took a nap. I went and took a nap.
I couldn't tell you needed one, Jack. I couldn't tell.
I went and took a nap, and then we went to Mookie's house. He threw a party for everybody, and then we continued the party and kept going.
So everybody went to Mookie's house?
Pretty much everybody went over to Mookie's house, and
how cool is that?
That was incredible. He's got an unbelievable setup. Guys were bowling, trying to see what they could do.
And Mookie dominated?
I didn't see Mookie bowl that whole time, but he was just he was playing host a little bit, so he was bouncing around, running around.
This is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable athlete.
What's Shohei like?
Shohei is like one of the guys. Shohei's one of the dudes. He just wants to. He sits on the bus. He reads his comic books and.
Which comic books?
I'm not sure. They're all in Japanese. Okay. Yeah, he just has it on his iPad. He shows up to the field, does his work, is as chill as they come.
Sometimes brings a dog to the stadium?
Yeah, Decoy's there for pretty much all the games. He just doesn't. Decoy's not down in the locker room with us, but he's absolutely one of the guys, and yeah.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah.
You saw this year, and you have firsthand knowledge of this. You saw this year what he did when he didn't pitch, how his hitting was elevated. Do you think, based on what you saw catching him, if he only pitched, that we could see a historic pitching season? Or do you feel like his hitting is more affected by his pitching than his hitting affects his pitching?
Yeah, it's a good question. I haven't noticed either one affecting each other. Like he does such a good job of keeping them separate. When he's in the cage, he's not really thinking about pitching. When he's on the mound, he's not thinking about hitting. If anything, he sees a pitch when he's hitting, he's like, wow, I want to throw something like that. But other than that, it's pretty distinct. And I think he takes care of his body so well and is such a master at that I really don't think it could affect him on either side of the ball.
This from the LA Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani today underwent successful arthroscopic surgery performed in Los Angeles by Dr. Neil Elatrache to repair a labrum tear that resulted from a left shoulder dislocation October 26th. He is expected to be ready for spring training. I know we always want to see our stars perform big, and ultimately Ohtani in the postseason was a disappointment, 767 OPS. But think about this. Think how tough he is, Zach, playing with a dislocated shoulder in the World Series. It was amazing.
You could really see after that slide into second base, he had little resistance at all on anything that was on the outside of the plate. You go back to that fifth inning, and Garrett Cole just pumped fastball after fastball on that outer half. He just couldn't go out there and get it and surround it and put anything on it.
Yeah, only 2 for 19 in the World Series. But I will say, the LCS, he was great, right? He kind of struggled early on against the Padres, against the Mets, though he showed some of that Ohtani flair.
He is a once-in-a-generational type player, and I am so excited to see him back on the mound next year.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, when he came over from Japan, we do a lot of tapes, and we do a lot of things about guys that may come over here. He was the most talented, gifted mechanics guy that I've seen coming from Japan. If you didn't know he is who he is, and you turned on the TV and you saw him pitching, you'd be like, wow, that guy's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't look anything like a DH or an outfielder.
No, he does not.
Going in, we're finally here in the off season, and off season is the holidays. We got the holidays coming up, and we got Christmas, right? So I want to know if Dave Roberts left a note to Santa on what he would want the Dodgers to kind of a wish list of guys or a guy or whatever, what would you write to Santa?
I would write to Santa because I don't know if I can speak on individual names, but I want to bring back a guy that we had in the bullpen this year. I think that we talked a little bit about earlier. I would love for Santa to bring me another bullpen arm who's a high leverage free agent. I want a starting pitcher. I think if we can do that, and I want to bring a guy that had a couple big homers for us in the postseason. That was with us this year.
Okay.
If we can bring that guy back,
okay.
And he's from a Latin American country. Because I just think that there's certain things that, what people do for the culture of the ball club, the dynamic, there's something to being able to post in big spots, to play for this organization in this city. Those things matter.
Yeah.
And there's things that are a lot of unknowns about players, but if you can already know some of the things that are now known, that's information. That's valuable.
That's a fact. I think I know the answer. I think all of America knows the answer to this question, but who's the funniest player on the team?
Kike Hernandez.
Yep. Didn't take long. Kike. So there you go. Managing Kike as the player, I'm sure, is really easy. It's really easy. He's a gamer.
The player, very easy.
But what about the person?
Very, very difficult. And I say this because I've had Kike and we've grown together. He is as smart of a baseball player as I've ever been around.
Wholeheartedly agree.
And as talented. So the challenge for Kike is to have that same focus and tenacity that he has in the postseason, in the regular season. And not all people can do that.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. And so that's where he and I have gone back and forth. But we got so much love for each other. And he's helped me win 2 championships. And he's been a big, big part of it. And so we've never been closer.
Yeah. Okay, what about this? Who's going to be who would be the last one to show up in the clubhouse?
Well, the last one to show up in the clubhouse is Teoscar.
I think that would be Teo.
I think it's Teo. And the thing is, though, 100%. But the dude shows up every day ready to play.
Ready to play.
Right? And so sometimes it's like the eyewash that people will show up at noon because they're there and they're on their phones. They're not getting any better. They're not working. So if you're just going to sit on your phone in front of your locker, stay your ass at home.
Yep.
And Teo gets that. He's like, when I show up, I'm ready to work.
I remember, Doc, the very first time I saw him, but one day game in particular, I forgot what city we were in. And the game was at 108 or something, 110. And it was 102. And Teo hadn't started hitting yet. He hadn't swung the bat yet. And I had anxiety for him. I had already hit twice. I'm sweating. I'm ready to go. I ran out on the field. Teo got his little back warmer. He got both his bats. And I'm like, Teo, you haven't hit yet? He said, nah, I'm hitting fourth. I'm good. I said, Teo, the game's in 5 minutes, bro. The game's in. No, I'm good. First pitch he sees, liner single up the middle. I'm like, what in the world? How?
So I'm glad I didn't know that story.
Oh, what?
Because he would have given me anxiety too.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those old school winter ball things where you just sort of show up, grab your bat, you do a couple toe touches, and then you're ready to go.
I mean, and he just
right.
What? Yeah.
But that speaks to the anxiety, where sometimes people want it so bad they try so hard, and that's an impediment. Where Teo's just found that little sweet spot and knows what it takes me mentally to get ready to get some knocks.
And who's most likely to become a manager?
The person or persons that have a good chance. I think Mickey Rose got a very good chance. He certainly, like all people, has some growth to do on that side of things. To not always think like a player, because you got to kind of flip it. I think he has the skill set, the knowledge. I think Kike has the knowledge and the skill set to be a manager as well. I think he's got to, as he grows up more and matures, to be able to manage up, to be able to manage the media. You just got to have somewhat of a filter,
Right.
Because your words are kind of, you're going to have more accountability when you're a manager and not a player. So if he can kind of wrap his head around that, I think he's got a good shot as well.
また、ドジャースのフリードマン編成本部長が、テキサス州サンアントニオで開かれている MLB 各球団の幹部や代理人が集まる GM 会議に出席し、メディアから、
翔平は大丈夫か
と質問を受けると、
He's good
と笑顔で親指を立て、大谷の順調な回復を伝えました。球団としても、来春のキャンプには間に合う見込みとのことです。ご視聴ありがとうございました。今後も大谷選手のさらなる活躍に注目し、最新情報をお届けしますので、ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆様からのコメントもお待ちしております。